2018 saw the release of 3 of the top 5 highest grossing superhero movies of all time, including Avengers Infinity War, which took out top spot in April, as well as a handful of other highly performing comic book adventures. As we enter another enormous film-going year at super speed, it's quite clear that superhero fatigue is still yet to set in amongst audiences, with a total of 11 superhero comic book movies finding a release. In this video, I'll be previewing all 11 theatrical superhero movies from the major studios releasing across 2019 in chronological order. This is gonna be a big one, so let's get into it. The first major superhero release of the year comes from Universal Pictures and Disney's Buena Vista Entertainment, Glass, based within M. Night Shyamalan's Unbreakable universe. Glass is described by Disney as a movie which brings together the narratives of 2 of M. Night Shyamalan's standout originals, 2000's Unbreakable from Disney's Touchstone Pictures and 2016's Split from Universal, in one explosive all-new comic book thriller. And their synopsis reads, following the conclusion of Split, Glass finds David Dunn pursuing Wendell Crumb's superhuman figure of the Beast in a series of escalating encounters, while the shadowy presence of Elijah Price emerges as an orchestrator who holds secrets critical to both men. The movie stars Bruce Willis and Samuel L. Jackson from Unbreakable, as well as James McAvoy and Anya Taylor-Joy from Split. As a fan of both movies, especially Unbreakable, I cannot wait to see how all of these characters come together and how Shyamalan's story concludes. Glass will be released in Australia on the 17th of January and in the US and the UK on the 18th of January. It will open across Europe between the 16th and the 18th. Disney and Marvel Studios' first major release in 2019 comes in the form of Captain Marvel, the big screen debut of the title character, who will be portrayed by Brie Larson. The movie will, of course, be based on the Marvel Comics characters and stories. Marvel's official synopsis reads, set in the 1990s, Marvel Studios' Captain Marvel is an all-new adventure from a previously unseen period in the history of the Marvel Cinematic Universe that follows the journey of Carol Danvers as she becomes one of the universe's most powerful heroes. While a galactic war between 2 alien races reaches Earth, Danvers finds herself in a small cadre of allies at the center of the maelstrom. Alongside Larson, the movie stars Jude Law, Ben Mendelsohn and Annette Bening, and sees the return of Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury, Clark Gregg as Agent Phil Coulson, Lee Pace as Ronan the Accuser, and Djimon Hounsou as Korath. This is one I'm definitely looking forward to as a fan of the character from the comics. I'm also excited to discover a previously unexplored time period of the MCU, and can't wait to see how it all ties into Avengers Endgame. Captain Marvel will be released in Australia on the 7th of March and in the USA and the UK on the 8th of March. The movie will release across Europe and Asia between the 6th and the 15th. Releasing in the following month is Warner Bros.' sole entry in the DC Extended Universe for 2019 with the comedy superhero origin story Shazam, based of course on the DC Comics character and stories. Warner's official synopsis reads, we all have a superhero inside us, it just takes a bit of magic to bring it out. In Billy Batson's case, by shouting out one word, Shazam! The streetwise 14-year-old foster kid can turn into the adult superhero Shazam, courtesy of an ancient wizard. Still a kid at heart, inside a ripped, godlike body, Shazam revels in this adult version of himself by doing what any teen would do with superpowers. Have fun with them. Can he fly? Does he have X-ray vision? Can he shoot lightning out of his hands? Can he skip his social studies test? Shazam sets out to test the limits of his abilities with the joyful recklessness of a child, but he'll need to master these powers quickly in order to fight the deadly forces of evil controlled by Dr. Thaddeus Savannah. Shazam stars Zachary Levi in the title role, who makes his screen debut in the DCEU alongside Mark Strong, Djimon Hounsou, and Adam Brody. Although DC do seem to be slowly getting themselves back on track with their cinematic universe before it derails completely, Shazam doesn't look all that enticing to me. Judging by the trailer, this is going to be a movie chock full of cheesy one-liners and cringy gags, but as always, I will be giving this one the benefit of the doubt. At least it looks better than Suicide Squad. Shazam will be released in Australia on the 4th of April and in the US and the UK on the 5th of April. It will open across Europe between the 3rd and 5th and across Asia between the 4th and 19th. Opening next is the latest big screen adventure for the Beast of the Apocalypse himself, Hellboy. in Lionsgate's R-rated series reboot based on the Dark Horse Comics character and stories. Lionsgate's synopsis for the movie simply reads, based on the graphic novels by Mike Mignola, Hellboy, caught between the worlds of the supernatural and human, battles an ancient sorceress bent on revenge. The movie stars David Harbour as Hellboy, alongside Mila Jovovich, Saoirse Lane, Ian McShane, Daniel Day Kim, and Thomas Hayden Church. I was never the biggest fan of the original Hellboy movies, and have never really been incredibly interested in the character at all. But Lionsgate's decision to try and revive this fledgling franchise without Ron Perlman, you know, the one thing that made the original somewhat enjoyable, is absolutely puzzling to me. The movie to me looks like it has great visual effects and design, but nothing in its hot mess of a trailer looks all that enticing to me, especially its cringy and forced humor. The movie's tagline, Legendary AF, is cringy AF and incredibly off-putting. Again, I will be giving this one the benefit of the doubt, but it's not got much hype from me. Hellboy will be released in Australia on the 11th of April and in the US and the UK on the 12th of April. It will open across Europe between the 10th and 17th, but won't hit Asia until June. Arguably the single biggest and most anticipated movie of the year, and easily that when it comes to superhero movies. Disney and Marvel's Avengers Endgame, the follow-up to 2018's Infinity War and the culmination of the Marvel Cinematic Universe's 11-year-long Infinity Saga, will hit cinemas next. Marvel are yet to release an official synopsis for this one yet, but the movie is expected to see the remaining Avengers reassembling in an effort to undo the carnage of the decimation brought on by Thanos' snap at the end of Infinity War and restore order to the universe. Endgame stars the entire lineup of performers and Marvel characters from Infinity War, but will also add Brie Larson's Captain Marvel and Evangeline Lilly's The Wasp to the mix, and will see the return of Jeremy Renner's Hawkeye. This one absolutely takes up my top spot for most anticipated Marvel movie of all time, and is easily expected to be my favourite superhero movie of 2019. Avengers Endgame will be released in Australia on the 24th of April and in the USA and the UK on the 26th of April. It will open across most of Europe and Asia between the 24th of April and the 2nd of May. Up next, another original superhero movie with a twist will release from Sony Pictures. Brightburn, the superhero effort from producer James Gunn. Sony's synopsis reads, what if a child from another world crash-landed on Earth, but instead of becoming a hero to mankind, he proved to be something far more sinister? With Brightburn, the visionary filmmaker of Guardians of the Galaxy and Slither presents a startling subversive take on a radical new genre, superhero horror. The movie stars Elizabeth Banks, David Denham, and Jackson A. Dunn as Brightburn. Brightburn basically aims to tell the Superman origin story, but with a dark twist. This is a concept I can absolutely dig, and the trailer, which clearly mimics that of Man of Steel, is fantastic. The movie looks dark, intense, and legitimately scary, and I cannot wait to see what James Gunn and his brother Brian and cousin Mark, both of whom wrote the movie's screenplay, have cooked up. Brightburn opens in Australia on the 23rd of May, and in the US and the UK on the 24th of May. It will open across Europe between the 23rd of May and the 26th of June, and across Asia between the 29th of May and the 27th of June. Next up is 20th Century Fox's upcoming troubled installment in their fledgling X-Men franchise, Dark Phoenix, based of course on the Marvel Comics X-Men arc of the same name. Fox's synopsis reads, the X-Men face their most formidable and powerful foe, one of their own, Jean Grey. During a rescue mission in space, Jean is nearly killed when she is hit by a mysterious cosmic force. Once she returns home, this force not only makes her infinitely more powerful, but far more unstable. Wrestling with this entity inside her, Jean unleashes her powers in ways she can neither comprehend nor contain. With Jean spiraling out of control and hurting the ones she loves most, she begins to unravel the very fabric that holds the X-Men together. Now with this family falling apart, they must find a way to unite, not only to save Jean's soul, but to save our very planet from aliens who wish to weaponize this force and rule the galaxy. Dark Phoenix stars the current roster of X-Men cast and characters who have appeared since First Class. Plagued by all kinds of issues including multiple reshoots, delays, and release date changes, Dark Phoenix is one of the most worrying superhero flicks for the year. Despite looking like nothing but a retread of X-Men 3, using the same comic arc as its basis, I'm actually one of the few who think this one might be okay. I mean, from the trailer, the movie doesn't look like the enormous mess we've all been led to expect. Mind you, that kind of is the point of a trailer. Their job is to make the movie look good and get bums on seats. So really, at most, I guess I'm just intrigued and interested to see how this one turns out. Dark Phoenix will be released in Australia on the 6th of June and in the US and the UK on the 7th of June. It will open across Europe between the 5th and 7th. So technically, the upcoming reboot of the Men in Black franchise isn't really a superhero movie, but it is based on a bunch of heroes from a series of comics printed by Marvel's Malibu imprint and features some pretty super characters and a cast familiar to superhero movie fans. So, what the hell? Up next from Sony and Columbia Pictures is Men in Black International. Sony's official synopsis reads, "The Men in Black have always protected the Earth from the scum of the universe. In this new adventure, they tackle their biggest, most global threat to date, a mole in the Men in Black organization." The movie reunites Chris Hemsworth and Tessa Thompson from Thor Ragnarok as two brand new MIB agents, Agent H and Agent M, and we'll see them joined by Liam Neeson, Rebecca Ferguson, and Emma Thompson, who reprises her role of Agent O from Men in Black 3. As a big fan of the original Men in Black series, I am totally up for a brand new adventure and potential reignited franchise, and aren't even overly disappointed at the decision for a rebooted direction, main character-wise at least. The decision to stay within the already established universe makes me excited for future possibilities, and I can't wait to check this one out. Men in Black International will be released in Australia on the 13th of June, and in the US and the UK on the 14th of June. It will open across Europe between the 17th of May and the 31st of June, where it will debut first in Sweden. The third and final MCU release for the year, Spider-Man Far From Home, will come from Sony Pictures and not Disney, though Marvel Studios was still heavily involved in the film's production. While the movie is being kept under a shroud of secrecy at the moment, assumedly to prevent Avengers Endgame from being somewhat spoiled so early, considering, you know, Spider-Man is supposed to be dead, a synopsis can be found on the website for the Russian distribution arm for Walt Disney and Sony Pictures. Roughly translated, the synopsis reads, Peter Parker and his friends go on summer holidays to Europe. However, the friends will hardly be able to rest. Peter will have to agree to help Nick Fury uncover the mystery of creatures that cause natural disasters and destruction throughout the continent. The movie will once again star Tom Holland as Peter Parker Spider-Man and see him joined by Marissa Tomei as Aunt May, Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury, Kobe Smulders as Agent Maria Hill, and Jon Favreau as Happy Hogan, and will debut Jake Gyllenhaal's Mysterio in the MCU. I really enjoyed Spider-Man Homecoming and cannot wait for another solo serving of MCU Spidey, but until we've seen Avengers Endgame, I am fairly hesitant to get too involved in the movie's marketing and promotion, lest anything slip out that may be to the detriment of Endgame. Spider-Man Far From Home will be released in Australia on July 4th and in the US and the UK on July 5th. It will open across Europe between the 4th and the 10th. Next is the movie which could perhaps be Fox's final installment in their X-Men franchise before Disney absorbs the characters into the MCU, and one which has had an equally as troubled production history as Dark Phoenix. New Mutants, based on Marvel's X-Men spin-off comic series. Fox's synopsis for the movie reads, 5 young mutants, just discovering their abilities while held in a secret facility against their will, fight to escape their past sins and save themselves. The movie will supposedly put a new horror spin on the X franchise. New Mutants stars Anya Taylor-Joy, Maisie Williams, and Antonio Banderas. The trailer for New Mutants dropped over a year ago, as the movie was supposed to open last April. However, after a similarly troubled production with reshoots and delays, New Mutants was pushed into 2019. The movie was originally pegged as the first installment in an X-Men spin-off franchise, but with a bleak outlook and an impending franchise takeover, may instead mark the miserable demise of the X-Men franchise we once knew and loved. That is, if Disney, who will likely have control of Fox by the time this one is set for release, decide to release the movie at all. I'm not liking what I've heard about or seen from this one so far, but hopefully it does pull through okay. Assuming the movie does actually finally get a release. New Mutants should open in Australia on the 1st of August and in the US and the UK on the 2nd of August. It should open across Europe between the 1st and the 25th. The final superhero movie for 2019 comes from Warner Brothers and DC, Joker, an origin story for their famous villain and the first in a supposed Elseworlds lineup of one-shot movies disconnected from the continuity of the DCEU. Warner's recently released synopsis reads, Joker centers around the iconic arch nemesis and is an original standalone story not seen before on the big screen. The exploration of Arthur Fleck, a man disregarded by society, is not only a gritty character study, but also a broader cautionary tale. Alongside Joaquin Phoenix, who is set to play the title role, Joker will star Zazie Beetz and Robert De Niro. Warners haven't revealed anything else too major from this movie just yet, other than this creepy makeup test with Phoenix in character. An entire slew of set photos have also unofficially been released online from the film's on-location production in New York. As a lifelong Batman and Joker fan, I am absolutely dying to see what DC and Warner's cook up with this movie, and I'm loving the look of the movie so far, from what little we've seen anyway. As someone who doesn't enjoy the DCEU a whole lot, a new take on the DC universe on the big screen might be somewhat refreshing. And this could perhaps be the DC movie we've all wanted and certainly deserved since Nolan capped off his Dark Knight trilogy back in 2012. I cannot wait to see how Phoenix pulls off the Joker. I think that he is perfectly cast, and again, from what we've seen, he looks spectacular. Joker will be released in Australia on October 3rd and in the US and the UK on October 4th. It will open across Europe between the 3rd and the 17th. And at that, we come to the end of my preview for all the superhero movies releasing in 2019. I cannot wait for this amazing year of comic book cinema, and though some of these movies may not be as great as others, it is still a beautiful time to be a nerd. With that though, guys, it is over to you. Fire away in the comments below and let me know which superhero movies you're most looking forward to in 2019. If this is your first time viewing one of my videos, you like what you've seen, you'd like to see more like this in the future, then please don't forget to hit that big old subscribe button up on your screen right now, and also hit that like button down below if you're feeling extra generous. Also, don't forget to check out my many social media accounts, and please consider supporting me over on Patreon. Thanks for watching, guys, and I hope you have a wonderful day.